What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, Fliyd Mayweather, he put a post up on Instagram with him playing with his grandchild. And on that post, it's up there. You can go check it out on Floyd's Instagram. And he says that boxing may have skipped a generation because none of his kids fight. Now, on that same post, Adrien Broner, responded to him saying like, yo, like, big bro, like, I need you more than ever to, he want to get back in shape because he's supposed to be fighting Figueroa. So, special request. And I've talked about Adrien Broner in the past. Listen, out of everything that, him and Floyd done been through, and Adrien constantly lashing out at Floyd and even calling him out at a fight, he got to come see me and all of this, and calling Floyd fake. And I mean, he's made countless videos just saying a lot of negative things about Floyd. So Floyd never feeds into this and go public and try to lash out back at him. But a lot of people was funny. They'll say Floyd is jealous of me because I'm unified, or Floyd is jealous of it. First of all, unified and all that, you still don't have, your legacy's not even close to what Floyd has done. And on top of that, you guys financially, your money can't even compare to the type of money that he's made. It's not about, oh, I got this, I got that. No, it's what you're trying to do and trying to accomplish. Floyd had done this way back when, so it doesn't matter if he was undisputed or not. Every champion, every great champion wasn't undisputed. And they say these things, but Floyd can come back and do an exhibition and still make more money than active fighters now, and get way more attention. Now, leading back to this point, Adrien Broner was supposed to fight Figueroa, and from what I understand, was supposed to be in July. Now they're saying it's moved to August. Well, who was even talking about this fight? Who was even talking about Figueroa versus Adrien Broner? So the fight was getting no press, getting no attention, and now he's reaching out for help, Floyd, to help him to get this fight secured, I guess, to get back in shape, get in the gym. I've been telling you guys this for the past couple of years. Adrien Broner is finished as an elite fighter. He has not been elite since he's lost to Maidana. He's managed to beat some C-level fighters since then, and anytime he fights an elite guy, he loses. Adrien Broner is not dedicated to the craft. He's not dedicated to the sport of boxing. He's not. And if you fight because you're running out of money, if you need an extra incentive other than the fact that I want greatness, and with greatness comes that reward, and I want big money, I need to be in there fighting, I need to be active. And if that is you don't understand that, it's difficult. Every time you see Adrien Broner, he's going to or coming from somebody's fight, he always looks fat. He's always he looks drunk the majority of the times you see him. And for Adrien to be the age that he is and lack the maturity and the understanding that he needs in life, it's an uphill battle. The last time we saw him, he fought a C-class fighter that the majority of people felt like he lost. And when you guys keep talking about what he's done in the past, yeah, I'm aware, I know what he's done. What does it have to do with right now? So if I don't have, a top 10 or Mount Rushmore and all, I don't do all that bullshit. I just like what I like. And, if Adrien Broner was able to turn it around and go back to his winning ways, hey, beautiful. But when is the last time we've seen him do that? You understand what I mean? So, for him to be in a stacked 140-pound division and he's so invisible, it goes to show you, man. I mean, the discipline that you need, the mindset that you need, the determination, the will, that grit, that fire, that dog. Adrien doesn't have that, man. And it's a strong possibility that he may lose to Figueroa. Now, even if he finds it in him, if the fight happens and he does win, then what? Because Adrien fight one time, disappeared 2 years. Fight one time, disappeared 2 years. That doesn't help him, at all. It really doesn't. Now, before I get to that, it doesn't help him. And Adrien Broner, at this age and this stage in his career, you can't go back and relive something you've already done. Adrien Broner, as an active fighter, Adrien Broner is done as an elite fighter. He just doesn't have it. You know, I don't care if it was Roy Jones finally losing clean and then never being the same again, and people kept crossing their fingers just thinking he got the magic to do it one more time. When you get to the point, whether it's an age thing or just a fact that you just don't have it, it's just the dedication is not there. He doesn't have that dedication. Adrien Broner looks like he's around 170 pounds when I see him. This guy, like, he fights at 140. He's fat. Pot belly and everything. Big fat face, big ass head. He's fat. So where are the videos of him training just to keep in shape, to keep sharp? You don't see it. So, you know, now when you get back in the gym, instead of just maintaining and then getting back and, you know, getting in tip-top fight shape, no, you have to cut 20, 30 pounds because you're going up, ballooning up in weight. So what he needs, he doesn't have anymore. You know, living off his past years, a 3-time world champion, nobody can take that away from him. When he was in his prime, you know, he was a solid fighter. But at the same time, you know, people will say, oh man, I think if he'd have kept going, been dedicated, he'd have been bigger than Floyd. Because, listen, coulda, woulda, shoulda, and all that. You have to have the same things that fighter have inside to go with your physical gifts. He obviously didn't have that. And all this swag they talking about and all this other stupid shit that has nothing to do with you being a great fighter. As far as you being a draw, people seem to forget he was in his prime when he got his ass whooped by Marcos Maidana. That shit had nothing to do with, oh, he wasn't ready. No, he was in shape, he was ready. He just wasn't ready for what was getting ready to happen. And Marcos Maidana gave him something that he didn't like, and we learned right then and there he doesn't like pressure. And we've seen anytime he had a fight with anybody that pressured him, he cannot handle pressure. Okay? So I don't see this as a situation where even if Floyd can help him, and let's say that it does, you know, as far as it resurrecting his career, you know, people look at what Nito Doe'S did. Yeah, it's different when you just go to war with a guy and he just beats you. You know, you're not the same fighter, but you still got that dog in you. We've seen Bernard Hopkins able to fight extensively, you know, to his mid-40s successfully. But at the end of the day, Nito Doe'S trains. He stays hungry. Okay? We don't see that in Adrien Broner. So again, talking about what he did in the past and all that has nothing to do with him securing a win now. If Floyd's able to help him in whatever type of way and it works out, and let's say he goes in there and he actually looks good against Figueroa, like he looks like he's back, then he has to stay on that track. But as far as I'm concerned, Adrien Broner's done. 2 more guys I'm going to mention. I'm not going to say that Keith Thurman is done, but Keith Thurman, I don't know. Keith Thurman is not active enough. Keith Thurman has too much inactivity going on in between fights the same way. And he keeps, you know, like I said in the last video, he keeps, you know, you guys still haven't seen the best Keith Thurman. Then, I mean, Keith, what are we waiting for? He's like 33, 34 now, like 34, 35, whatever. So what are we waiting for, Keith? When is this best version of you going to come out? I just feel like, you know, Keith Thurman, the inactivity, I don't know what it is he think is going to be so different when he gets in the ring. You know, we saw him go 12 rounds with Mario Barrios, a guy who got knocked out by Tank with one punch, a 35-pounder. And I don't want to hear, like I said, this shit about, oh man, but it was ring rust. No, you got more than enough time to go in there and fight. If you prepare properly to go in there and fight and perform the way you're supposed to, it's a fight. You get hit, you hit your opponent. We get it. But for that situation of him taking these long layoffs, it's not helping him. It's not helping him. So if the ring rust is the problem, then why you keep taking these long breaks after each fight? And then every time you go back in there, ring rust. We keep hearing ring rust. Well, stop. Why are you staying away for so long? If your body is battered, you're healing from injuries, and you don't want people to know, that's all cool. But stop with the ring rust shit, because at the end of the day, the fans can make up excuses, and so can the fighters. But what's going to be is going to be. And those long stints out the ring, it just doesn't help you unless you are allowing your body to heal. But at the same time, being out the ring for so long, you're going to get in there at the end of the fight, knowing you didn't look the way you wanted to, knowing the fans realized it, ring rust. So I don't see that as being hopeful, unless, again, you can actually come in there and fight and win the way that you're expected to win. The third guy I'm going to talk about is there's rumor that Jarrell Miller's coming back, and he's supposed to be having a fight coming up, or had a fight, or whatever. If he had a fight, that sucks because nobody knows about it. If he has a fight coming up, nobody knows about it. Just hearsay. Jarrell Miller is what, mid-30s by now? And Jarrell Miller, I mean, what's supposed to happen different for Jarrell Miller now? What's supposed to happen different from him? There's too many guys that I see in the heavyweight division that I feel would beat Jarrell Miller convincingly. And for him to come back, he's not going to just walk his way into a top spot. Now, the best case scenario for Jarrell Miller is if he comes back and people feel like a top name call him out as a cherry pick, because he doesn't have a big following. He doesn't have a big name. In fact, in America, nobody talks about Jarrell Miller unless they're calling him Big Pharmacy Miller. They talk about Deontay Wilder a little now. He's the only black American heavyweight that anybody talks about. And all these failed drug tests and calling another fighter a drug cheat, then you get caught, and there's a respect that's not there. You understand? There's an interest that's not there, and he doesn't have a big following. His big fight debut was supposed to be against Anthony Joshua, and it never happened. So when you look at, again, best case scenario is if he got called out as a cherry pick and he upset that person, because now that puts him in the spot that he wants to be in. But as far as him working his way back in and getting there, he's too old, man. Too much inactivity and just not being in there fighting, and his style, the way he fights. I would bring him back against somebody like Hellenius. I would even put him in there with Charles Martin. If Charles Martin is still here walking this earth like a god, Kalnaki, I'd put him in there with somebody like that. Have 3 fights with guys like that coming back. If you beat guys like that, 4th fight would probably be against somebody like FA, depending on what these other guys got going on as well. Because if he could fight twice in 1 year, for 2 years, he's back. Now, if he is winning these fights, maybe he gets in there with Dillian Whyte. Maybe he walks Dillian Whyte down and wears him out, and maybe get a late stoppage, because Dillian Whyte is shown that he gets tired. He's not a big puncher, Jarrell Miller, but he, he's a pressure fighter, throws a lot of punches. I could see him and Joe Joyce having like a bang out, because Joe Joyce and him are very similar. It's just that Joe Joyce is very tall, can work behind that jab, which I think would give him an advantage over Jarrell Miller. And pretty much his stamina is even, probably got the best stamina in the heavyweights. So, I just don't trust Dillian Whyte's chin, to be honest with you, especially from an uppercut. And Dillian Whyte, I don't know. He might be able to pull it off against Whyte, and because he does throw a lot of punches, and with all that weight, he'll probably wear Dillian Whyte down. It's possible Whyte wins, but it's possible Jarrell Miller might be able to, walk him down and wear him out in the later rounds. Okay. I think Anthony Joshua beats him, because I think that Jarrell Miller, the way he leans, how he lunges in, I just think and he's slow. So he throws wide shots, and I think Anthony Joshua just picks him apart. I think Deontay Wilder just knocks him out, picks him apart, not pretty much just wait, lay back, jab. I think he just knocks him out as if he's still fighting. I think Tyson Fury just outclasses him and just destroys him. I think that Usyk just outboxes him, outclasses him, and I think Daniel Dubois just knocks him out. And if he doesn't knock him out, I think that it's just a fight where if Daniel Dubois doesn't get tired, that he can win the fight. But I think he knocks Big Pharmacy Mill out. Personally, I think Frank Sanchez just tears him apart. There's just too many fighters, man, that I just see that can beat him, for him to just walk back and be effective. So, if he is back, I don't really see too much happening for him. Keith Thurman, I'm not sure. We have to see. I don't think Keith Thurman beats Errol Spence, and I don't think Keith Thurman beats Terence Crawford. I don't think Keith Thurman beats Jaron Ennis. So, we'll have to see how that goes. But, I'll keep you guys posted, and I'm sure you guys will see things for yourself. What's going on with Adrien and his fight with him and Figueroa? Like I said, we haven't even heard any real news about it. So him reaching out to Floyd, begging for help and all of that, it is what it is, man. We'll see how it goes. And honestly, I don't know. Other aside from him getting a nice paycheck, I don't really know what it does for Adrien Broner. Because Adrien Broner at this stage has showed us that he just doesn't have that dog in him. And his skills have deteriorated immensely. Let's just be real with ourselves. So those three names, Broner, as far as I'm concerned, done. Pharmacy Miller, done. Keith Thurman, he still has something in the tank. But against who? Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all in the next video.